Hello everyone, it's Olivia here, aka Story Minded, and I really wanted to make a video. I've been wanting to make this video for a while, I just haven't got round to it because I don't know, I just haven't got around to it. Sorry for my rather windswept appearance. I just got back from uni. I only had one lecture today, 3 till 4, which is quite handy. It's one of my literature modules, which is Unpacking Text, Introduction to Critical Theory. Fun times, but it's quite interesting, and it went a lot better than I thought it was going to. It made a lot more sense because our lovely lecturer went back over something we've been looking at. Martin Heidegger, who wrote this he wrote many essays, but one of the essays he wrote was on language, and he analyses a poem called A Winter's Evening. And it's all very... but it went okay. But the reason why I'm making this video is because I wanted to share some of my sort of personal successes over the summer with writing. And on the Young Poets Network, if none of you, or if some of you watching this or come across this video and you don't know what the Young Poets Network is, it is an amazing website that supports poets from teenagers all the way up to age 25. All of their challenges are free. And over the summer they run the August challenges, where fellow young poets on the website or other poets run these challenges to create different pieces of poetry. And I'm very pleased and honoured to say that in 2 of the challenges, I haven't heard back about the 3rd one that I've entered yet because it hasn't been judged yet, but from 2 of them I entered. The first 2, funnily enough, August challenge number 1 and August challenge number 2, I had in the August challenge number 1, Is This a Poem, which explored prose poetry. One of my poems was highly commended. And in the August challenge #2, which is Make More with Less, and it was about writing found poetry, my poem became 3rd, which was amazing. So that's my first ever piece of writing to be ranked like that in a poetry. My first piece of poetry, sorry, to ever be ranked in a competition. So that was a really nice milestone, and I just wanted to sort of share it with you. So I'm just going to read out my poems, and I'll put a link to them once I post this video. So this is my prose poem that was commended in the first challenge, and it's called No Ears. Stop, start, stop, start. You stumble over your words, like how the startled buffalo used to stumble over their stocky legs. Or how quickly you used to turn your horse with just the pressure of your calves. But you've been told to share a story, and this is something that's in your blood. It flows through your veins as certain as your inner map of the prairie. The unknown, hidden creeks and the dips in the never-ending hills. Freedom. The wind cries against the glass that forces it out. Your classmates snigger and nudge, call you savage. But the spirit of your family rises inside. Your tribe's tales and songs, as sure as stars, resonate in your mind. Sitting Bull, soldiers in sky, fall far down, into camp. No ears, no ears. An eruption louder than the explosives. They laugh. They throw parts of tree, paper. The teacher does nothing, tells you to sit back down. They see you as foreign, but you know the value of being this. How tiny birds work with buffalo to warn them of the approaching wolves, and how the earth is a continuous circle, despite being shown on a map as fragmented. You force back the tears and try not to think of where your family is. Instead, you think of how none of these people use their ears. They have no ears, no ears. So that was inspired by my love of history when I learnt about the Native Americans back at GCSE, and I just thought, because on the website they give you really handy prompts, and it talks about prose poems are often good if you sort of have an element of history with them, because it's just so prose poetry. Well, that was annoying. My video apparently reached its limit, so it cut out. So prose poetry is a form that, as the name suggests, you write it as if it was prose, but you keep a lot of the rhythm and the sounds and the sort of metaphorical imagery and symbolism of poetry. So I can't really think of a way to describe it. I guess it doesn't have to be like this. It can be anything you want, but I think prose poetry, there's something very lyrical, and I mean, you could argue that prose itself is lyrical, but prose poetry takes it that one step further by really sort of experimenting with rhythm, and it's a lot freer in some cases. So that was No Ears, and then to share with you the other one before my video decides to muck up again, and I'm gonna probably have to try and edit it somehow, is the one that came, I'm sorry, my English is not good at the moment. It's called Void, and found poetry, for those of you who've never experienced or come across found poetry before. Basically, you take existing pieces of work, it could be anything, you could overhear a conversation, it could be from a book, you take fragments from those works, which is why it's always important to credit. We had to credit where we got our stuff from, and then you create a poem from it, from pre-existing material. So mine, I invented stuff, but I used the titles of books on my bookshelf. So here's the poem, Void. Between oceans lies the deserted land of decoration. The book thief wanders these tomeless shores and resigns to the forgetting time. A life discarded, a dismantled bike crumpled at the bottom of a cliff. No trigger warning present. They are all alone here. Untouched by urban lights, the night rainbow is as expressive as smoke and as reflective as mirrors. Their reflection is 5 things: dark, secret, fragile, calm, deceived. If the book thief could have read their ending, they would have permanently postponed their journey. But the chance to be a discoverer of an imaginary world proved too enticing to ignore, so they rode on a spring tide of words to get here, refusing to believe there was more than this, more to life than thieving and reading. The promised new life had been storied. This land of decoration was void of things, void of life. Now all the book thief has is a collection of fragmented titles from the stolen books they once read when they were happy. So carelessly happy. I was really proud of that poem. I entered 2 poems into this competition. The other one was a different one where I used different fragments from The Power by Naomi Alderman, because I really admired her writing, and I created something different out of that. So found poetry is a really fun, it's like a crafty kind of version of poetry, and it feels like you're making a collage and stuff like that. So I really enjoyed it, and I won't bore you with the because I used so many titles. I used so many books from my bookshelf, and they had to list them all, bless them. So if you're interested on what book titles I used, I'll leave the link in this description of the video, and you can go and read it down the side if you'd like. But anyway, if anyone's watched this, thank you. I hope all your writing projects are going well, and I hope to make more videos soon. Bye.